2025 is nearing its end, and luckily for all of us, Ebo Noah's prediction on the global flood that was going to kill us all turned out to be incorrect. Well, knock on wood. Guess any day now could still happen, I suppose. Ebo Noah, for those that don't remember, was a TikToker who claimed he got a message from God that the world was going to flood on the 25th and he needed to build arks to save all the people and all the animals. So he started building some arks. But you know how the story goes. World did not flood on the 25th, and Ebo Noah was very excited about that, saying that his prayers were answered and God postponed it. And then turns out he also got himself a nice luxury vehicle. Allegedly, potentially, from some donations he had received from a lot of people panicked that the world was ending and their only way of surviving was to go to his arks. There's even video footage of hundreds, if not thousands, of people that showed up to his arks prior to the prophesized flooding. But luckily, didn't flood. We're all still here. No rapture either. That one also turned out to be a load of baloney. And as I look back on 2025, it's safe to say, boy howdy, it's going to be one for the books. And there's plenty of negative things to point out, but I wanted to focus on the positives of 2025 on a personal level. There were a couple decisions I made this year that have led to a lot more happiness in my life. The first, getting a farm. I cannot tell you how much nicer it is to live life outside of just the four walls you're surrounded with. As every tech company on the planet tries to do its best to get you suckling from their titty, like locked in your rooms, getting all your socialization through ChatGPT and other AI services, and as more and more things are pushing you to just stay at home, it's nice to buck that trend and be outside. And not to sound like your great grandpappy, talking about how back in my day I had to walk 15 miles up a hill of fucking molten lava in order to get to school, that kind of thing. But I gotta tell you, there really is something about that whole outdoors thing. It kind of lives up to the hype, It does feel nice to just disconnect and be outside and shit. I started running again recently. I got a treadmill and I run on that, but I've also just been running around outside too, which was something that I had not done for a while. For the last 10 or so years, it's been exclusively weightlifting. The main cardio I would get is pick up basketball, but I don't know, it feels pretty good to just be running for the sake of running. These old bones and the old joints, they may ache and don't appreciate it in the moment, but I know they'll thank me long term. And I guarantee I look like shit while running too. I bet my form looks awful. I probably look like a zombie from 28 Days Later. But it feels good. I don't know, it's nice breathing the fresh air and shit. So getting that farm, and I want to do a lot more out there with the land, with agriculture and shit. But just taking that first step has been very nice. Another thing that I did this year that's been extremely fulfilling is getting back to my roots. At the end of 2024, I recognized that I barely played any games for that whole year, and over the last handful of years, I've kind of weaned off of gaming without even really noticing. So 2025, I made a strong point to get back to gaming a lot, because it's something that's always made me happy since I was a wee toddler. So I even made a whole channel dedicated to it, Moist Critical Gaming, and I've been having so much fucking fun with that. I have played hundreds of games this year. Hundreds, not exaggerating. And I've still missed some bangers that have come out this year because it's been a stacked year for great games that have been slapping. But it's been so fucking refreshing just going through and playing some classic retro games. I played the old school Peter Jackson King Kong game, Sly Cooper, still need to finish the whole series. Of course, then I also did my Resident Evil marathon where I played every motherfucking Resident Evil game ever made, all 30 of them. It's just been so nice. Getting back to something that I used to love just feels really good. Good for the soul. And playing shitty games, oh man. Chef's kiss. It's never been so enjoyable. And piggybacking off of that, one other thing that I've been doing and making more of a conscious effort on is physical media. I think all of us recognize now we're in the era of you will own nothing and be happy. Corporations are pushing you to just basically rent shit from them. You get a permission slip to access something for however long they deem appropriate, but can revoke it at any time. RIP to incredible cartoon series that are no longer being streamed and you don't have access to unless you have them on physical media. And so I've been making more of an effort to get CDs and movies of things that I've always really liked. And I've been tinkering with the notion of doing the same for video games, but for video games, I'm just a huge proponent of emulation. Emulation is just absolutely integral to the medium because it is aggressively changing towards you own the idea of a game. It's all just imagination at this point. Fucking Ubisoft really leading that charge where they're just proudly with their whole chest saying gamers need to be comfortable not owning their games. So I am a big proponent of emulation. It preserves games. You have the games. That it can't really be taken away from you per se. So, like, emulation's been amazing, but I also just love the idea of having the physical copy and playing it on the CRT behind me. But since I've been recording all of my old school gaming, that's kind of difficult to, like, record off the CRT. It can be done, but it's a little more of a headache. So I haven't really dove into physical media for my games yet, but I probably will take the plunge because it's just nice to have. Another thing, and I don't want it to sound like an advertisement, but this has been a huge part of my year, Cheeky Soap. I had no idea what to expect when we launched Cheeky last year because it was never meant to be like a product to launch out to people. It was something that we made for me, a problem I have. So I have psoriasis, and after a shower, feeling brutally dry and just accepting that was the way of life. But then like 2 or so years ago, I was like, there's probably a better way of doing that. So I learned about like bar soap being better for you than liquid soap, which I had used most of my life. And then while experimenting with a bunch of bar soaps, I figured we can probably do something better. So then Matt, Shane, and I started trying to formulate a much better bar of soap that's extremely hydrating for me. So that way when I get out of the shower, I don't feel like SpongeBob when he has his helmet off. That's always the reference I make because that is literally how it felt leaving a shower with psoriasis. It just didn't feel good. So Cheeky Soap was born just from that want. And then as we gave it to like family and friends, they really liked it and wanted more. So then we decided just to open up to anyone that might want it if anyone else has sensitive skin. And it's just done extremely well, like more so than any of us possibly could have foreseen. And it's not just for people with sensitive skin, it's just like people with normal skin that just really like high quality soap with, you know, all natural, good ingredients. It's just like people really liked it a lot. So much so that we even were able to partner with Chainsaw Man for the Chainsaw Man movie. Also Solo Leveling, and we have a couple more huge ones in 2026 because they all really liked the product. And then like a bunch of content creators that we really liked the product and wanted to work with us. So it's just been crazy with what's happened with Cheeky Soap this year. The one thing that I do want to mention, though, that I really want to set as a goal for 2026 with Cheeky is doing something about international shipping. It is just a disaster. Like, at first when we launched, we didn't even have it as an option because you pay more for shipping internationally than you do for the actual soap itself. It's such a fucking catastrophe with how expensive international shipping is in the current climate of everything going on. All our soap is made here in America, so shipping overseas is not cheap at all currently. And the only way to really solve that problem is to have warehouses overseas that have the inventory there so that way you don't have to ship it overseas. But we're not at a size where that makes sense to do that right now. It's very expensive, but I would like in 2026 to be able to eventually do that. So that way anyone that wants to order it overseas can do so without the crazy fucking fortune you have to spend on that shipping price. But anyway, like I said, I didn't want this to feel like an ad. It's just been like a really big, very nice part of 2025 with everything that's been going on with Cheeky. Another huge piece of 2025 that's just been amazing for myself as well as friends that have been working on it with us is the Godslap animated feature film. We have an entire movie being made for Godslap, our comic series. It is a traditional 2D animated feature film. It's animated from an extremely talented studio that I've been very hush-hush on because I want to wait until we have like a trailer or something to show all of you to reveal that. I am financing it out of my own piggy bank. Charles's purse here, so there's no like outside investment pulling the strings and like forcing things in there or anything like that. So it will be our exact vision, and I'm extremely excited about that. We just got the first 25-minute animatic in. It'll probably be about like a year and a half if I had to guess for the first 25 or so minutes, which will be on my channel here, totally available to everyone for free. After that, then we'll start production on the next like 80, 90 minutes, whatever it is when we get to that point. There's so much I want to talk about with the Godslap animated film, but I've been trying my best to keep the details to myself till we can show you it, as opposed to just, generate hype, which might be, months out before you see anything. So I don't want to go too deep into it here, but it has been a big part of my 2025, and it is extremely exciting, and I can't wait to share more of it with all of you. I could probably yap for quite a lot longer on some other things, but the other big one that I want to mention is my dad's 32 Ford project being completed this year. That was an extremely special thing. I know for him and Joe, his friend that he worked on it with over the last couple of years, but just seeing my dad so excited about something and putting so much time and effort into this project, building this car from his childhood, was so fucking cool to me. And he just recently took it to a car show, which he was really proud of. Everyone really liked it at the car show. So just seeing the work that he's done on that and seeing it completed now was another very special moment of 2025 for me. I guess there's no point in me blabbering for another 20 or so minutes, but even though there are plenty of negative things to point out about this year, I wanted to try and instead look at some of the positive personal things that have happened for me in 2025. And there's been a lot. And I hope for any of you watching this out there who are seeing so much bad going on in the world to maybe take a moment and reflect, see if there was anything good about your 2025, and maybe focus on that going into the new year. And I don't know, just something uplifting. I was trying to deliver something a little more positive using my own personal experiences in 2025. And I'm really hoping that you watching this also had some great things that have happened in your life this year that you can look back on positively in the midst of, a lot of not good stuff going on out there. Anyway, though, that's really about it. Wishing you all a wonderful new year. That's about it. See ya.